Oh, warming up the internet. What's up, internet? How you doing? Happy Monday to everybody in the world. Ha, 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 ha. Unless it's not Monday where you're at, and happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, happy Monday. I don't know. But what's up, everybody? It's Monday. We're here for another long discussion of nonsense with a little bit of video in it and some other stuff, and answering some questions and talking to you in the chat. Excuse me. Excuse me. That was an excusable offense that I just did. We got to get more reasonable on this show around here. We can't have no sneezing or coughing. Can't have any of that. Come on now. This is the most professional show on the internet. To date, right? The most pro show in the world on the internet. I don't know. It's mildly professional. I am your humble narrator, Gerald, otherwise known as Corvus on the internet. So, if you're on the internet and you're like, why is that guy's name Corvus? It's Latin, bros. And I'm an old school gamer. Right? Old school. Oh, this guy's old school. Oh my god. Old school gamer, it's my old handle on the internet, and I just continue to roll with it so that it's just more confusing to every person out there. What up? How you doing? Good to see all your bright and shiny faces. I see Jad Orzi in here. I see Mateo in here. I see Charlie. I see Bald and Dangerous. I see Mr. Frank Dominguez. I see Alyssa Bentley. I see Lexi V. What's up, Lexi V? What's up, Daryl Dimer? The always illustrious Daryl Dimer. Good to see you. And I see AJ Aquarium, who was here and left. But, congratulations. 1 thumbs up, followed by 1 3/4 of a thumbs up, for being first to the chat. Congratulations. Nice work. Beautiful Monday stylings. I like it. Boop, boop, doop, boop, 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 doop, boop. Who do we got here else? Who do we got else? We've got Nick's Fish Room. We've got Smeel Kapoor. We've got Nick's Fish Room. We got, who else we got? Who else am I going to shout out to? Oh, you guys are just chatterific here. A couple of just chatty McChattertons. We got a Chad Krotz, speaking of chat, right? Chad Krotz. We got a Joel Gillett. We got Brandon Duran with the internet saying, why, hello. Thank you. Jackson Kobayarks is here. Good to see it. What is this stupid wire doing? All right, let's get that wire out of there. That was ridiculous. I see Scottish Aquatics. What is up, my guy? How you doing? We got to figure out a project one of these days. Scottish. I'm going to just call you Scottish Aquatics. We got to figure something out at some point in time. We got Slynide. I think I said that right. Probably not. We got Yara Fuwazad. Yara Fuwazad. Maybe I got that now. I don't know. If I screw up your name, it's not on purpose. It's difficult. You know, it's just difficult sometimes. We got 1 Asterix Aquaria here. We got Bentley Pascal. How you doing, buddy? Michael Moncur, Daniel Squires, Master Beta. Oh, the names are getting deep. All right, let's get all the way down here. But shout out to AJ for being first. Good job. Bjorn Serapio. Maybe I said that right. Serapio, hopefully. Shout out from Trinidad and Tobago. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, if you're in Trinidad and Tobago, you should probably share this out. Let's try to get a bigger audience in here today, because we do have a giant goal to try and get up to 1,000 live viewers. I don't know if we ever will, to be brutally honest with you. I don't know that we ever will. This humble show here, I don't know if we'll ever get to 1,000 live viewers, but As we've talked about before, we've got to share it out there because you know what? YouTube won't do it. So it comes down to you guys, the fans. If you're a fan and you want to do a Q&A and you like these live shows, we got to share them out. Speaking of sharing them out and supporting the live show, if we're going to keep doing the live show or not, by the way, to anybody out there that thinks I was super cranky last week, I was having a bad day, and that happens from time to time. And I think out of all the episodes that I've done here, it does happen every once in a while that I have a bad day. But that's why I would like to just settle the waters a little bit here. Let's just settle the waters a little bit. We're going to take it down. We're going to take it down. We're going to settle the waters here a little bit. Okay? Oh. We're going to smooth it out. We're going to smooth it out. Smooth as glass. Are we going to be able to run 6 buoys? Does anybody out there know what I'm talking about when I say 6 buoys? I'm going to run 6 buoys at 35 off, at 35 feet off, 6 buoys. I'm going to be taking it at 3,100 RPM. You know what I'm talking about? We're going to have to get us a Mastercraft or a Ski Brandella, maybe something like that. If anybody knows what I'm talking about. Does anybody know? We'll see. But let's move right back on. Let's smooth the waters out here a little bit. One thing I would like to point out about having a cranky day like I did last Wednesday, I ain't here throwing on a big facade. I'm not here throwing on a big false show of who I am, right? I think that's one of the things that I really enjoy about being able to do this show. I really enjoy being able to come on here and talk to you guys, and is that I really feel like I don't put a misrepresentation of who I am out there. And you know what? Sometimes we all have a bad day. Sometimes we're all super stressed out, and we have about a million things going on that are out of our control. And you know what? The work still got to be done. You know what I mean? And I think I got there. I don't know if I got there. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. But to bring it all together there in that little bit of a whatever I was talking about was just to point out, yeah, what you see is what you get. I'm like those corals you buy online. It's a what you see is what you get. I actually am this person. This is who I am, and I really enjoy being able to do this show because you guys get it. I feel like an honest representation of who I am. And sometimes I'm having a bad day. Sometimes I'm having a bad day. There's few and far between. I got a pretty long... I'm a pretty patient guy, you know what I mean? But sometimes I get to that point where I'm... sorry, I'm just coughing today. It's terrible. But I feel like I try to put the... I try to stay on track with exactly who I am. Oh, man. I'm trying to see if anybody... let me see if anybody got what my reference was. Okay, 35 feet off, 6 buoys, 3,100 RPM. That's pretty fast through the buoys, if you know what I'm saying. And 35 feet off is the rope, is a reference to the rope in... I was going to say slalom skiing, but what is that called? Water skiing. Water skiing single, right? What do you call that? Yeah. Water skiing on one ski. Gosh, why can't I think of what it's called? Anyhow, it's water skiing, slalom water skiing, basically. Man, I wish I could give you this... Yeah, slalom water skiing. That was my issue. What I was trying to come up with. I wish I could post this picture here. But if y'all could look up some Google image search, slalom water skiing. And I'm not saying I want to get back into it, but when I was a kid, I was into it a lot. Along with wakeboarding and stuff like that, which back then was kind of weird that anybody would even do any of that kind of stuff because it was basically like just invented, but not the slalom skiing, but wakeboarding and stuff like that. I think the first one I had was made out of wood. But I used to be way into that when I was a kid. And I always tried to do 35 off. Could never actually get, because you basically have a shorter rope when you're going back and forth through the buoys, and then you're going faster through the buoys, all that kind of stuff. I never could get that far advanced into it. But you know what? We might as well go for it today. So we always might as well go for it, right? But my little rant earlier, hopefully that kind of smoothed out whatever happened last Wednesday. I definitely appreciate all the messages from people that I got. It was super awesome. Mad props to everybody. But as I was trying to allude to, I was trying to say, you guys supporting the show, sharing it out, and all that kind of stuff. I also want to give a shout out to our new Patreonizers. If you don't know what Patreon is, boy howdy, you got to figure it out. I've got it going pretty quickly. I can give you guys the sale pitch pretty quick, right? It's a third-party website, which means it's hosted by itself, right? Doesn't have anything to do with YouTube, doesn't have anything to do with Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or any of that kind of stuff. It's its own website. Now, what this website is for, basically for funding creators and stuff. I think we all agree. Well, I hope we all agree. I don't know. Do we? I hope we all agree that we want people to be creating more stuff. Patreon is the website for how we can crowdfund the creation of stuff. Not all of us can get the opportunity to sell a show to HBO like Casey Neistat did, right? Not all of us have that opportunity to, sell a show for a ton of money and then get that basically development paycheck, or the development paycheck that like Joe Rogan talks about. Joe Rogan talks about how back in the day he got this huge paycheck is what was considered a developmental paycheck, which allowed him to do stand-up for like 3 or 4 years or something like that without having to worry about paying his rent and all that kind of stuff. Patreon is a site where we could all crowdfund that, basically. And there's a ton of you that are already on there, and my mad props go out to all of you guys because I was doing the math earlier this week. Well, I know it's Monday, but like my weeks all go together. So earlier this week was Saturday or something. Anyhow, I was doing the math a couple days ago. There we go. Let me just say a couple days ago. So I was doing the math a couple of days ago, and I was just comparing, where does the funding come from, okay? And it's a ridiculously higher percentage where the Patreon comes in. I think the Patreon is responsible for like 70% of just being able to do this. So I know there have been times where I've gotten emails from people that are like, man, you get $1,300 off of Patreon a month. That's like a ton, but I don't have a ton of other incomes. I don't have a ton of other sources of income other than Patreon. I really, like I said, I was really breaking it down that like Patreon is like 70% of where my income is coming from, and that's all because of you guys. So if you feel like you want me to be able to do more produced content, make more crazy paintings and stuff, that would be the spot to do it. Nikki Depew today with a pledge. Kurt today with a pledge. And Christopher Clark yesterday with a pledge. A bunch of deleted ones here I got to go past. Kenny Ortiz on the 3rd, and Steve Horton on the 1st. So those are big thanks to our new ones, and big thanks to our existing patronizers too. I'm going to be I'm trying to work out like a new thing that I can do. I wanted to try and figure out how to do a reward that unfortunately means I'm trying to figure out how to do a reward which means I'm not at the post office like 5 times a month. As Alyssa Bentley is asking, did I end up getting that truck? Let's see, who else asked? Somebody else was asking, and I don't want it to get missed. So we're asking super early. My internet is bust, so I can't go on any page except YouTube, so I can't copy the links. Sorry, Dan. I'll get some of the links put up in there. Well, Dan's got the Patreon. He posted it up. Who else asked that question? Where did it go? Somebody was asking. Oh, Tampa Tom was asking. Hey, Joel, did you get that new old Explorer look? Did you get it? He's asking about the truck. A lot of people are asking about the truck. The truck nonsense is continuing. It is. This insurance company is mind-bending. They are a mind-bending group of people that like to send out emails like, 20 minutes before 5 on a Friday, and then, so how are you supposed to get back to them? Because they're like, hey, we're going to charge you a bunch of money. Oh, cool, see you later, we'll be back Monday. What? So it has been a mind-bending experience dealing with them. I just want to get it done after a couple of weeks and so many trips and so many advertisements and so many car dealerships and test driving a ton of broken, old, busted trucks. I think I've found the one, and as soon as this show is over, I'll be heading off to go buy it. We shall see. I hope it works out. It sounds like everything's going to work out. Unfortunately, this truck doesn't have the work done to it that I had done to the other truck, but it realistically is the exact same truck. It just happens to be white instead of green. So, at the very least, all my tools and stuff that I know how they fit in my old truck will be able to fit in this truck, so I don't have to do a ton of modifications and all that kind of stuff. I won't have to go completely crazy to like set all my tools up a different way. I'll be able to put them in and just load them up and go. I just, fingers crossed, that I'll be able to get the suspension work done on it and get the other things handled on it that I had done on my other truck and it not cost too much. But realistically, after everything's said and done, I'm probably going to be out like $1,500. I'll probably be like $1,500 in the hole after, and basically just ending up with the same truck with a different paint job on it. So that's kind of nutty, but I guess that's what happens in 2018, United States. Someone else crashes into you, drives off into the night, gets arrested, goes to jail, and then I have to pay money and deal. The biggest thing is all the time. All the time dealing with this has been just ridiculous. The phone calls, I got to FedEx a thing over here, and I got to email, and then I got to search, and I got to it's just ridiculous. And then, of course, most everybody that I talk to are like, oh, yeah, everybody's been through this, I'm like, are we just accepting of like bad things happening because it's like it's happened to everybody? Like, that makes no sense to me. But fingers crossed, we're nearing the finish line, and then we'll be doing. Hopefully, we'll be doing just back to what we were doing before. The amount of time that's gone into this is just ridiculous, and I'm never going to get it back. That's the thing that really kind of pisses me off. So a bit ridiculous. We got to figure out something to get this situation streamlined for everybody in the future, I guess. I don't know. Although I don't have anything to do with insurance companies or anything like that, so maybe, I don't know. Nick's Fish Room with a $2 Canadian super chat saying rant support. So let's look up a question because Nick's Fish Room super chat didn't have a question on it. WHTF Sayonara. I don't know what the H is doing in there. I think it was WTF Sayonara. That would be better. I don't know what the H is doing in there. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. It says, care to Oranda Goldfish and Corridorus FX6 for filtering plus JBL Manado. I don't know what the Manado is for soil. Oh, the JBL. Yeah, the JBL soil. Problem is the light tank is... Okay, that's not really a question. I don't know. Shoot. I don't know. I don't know what that question is. Okay, I'm going to scroll back down because I don't know what that question is. One asterisk, Aquarian is asking, Latin, how many Corvicichthys oceani can I fit in a 120? Would I be able to add some Joleatus christianensis? My tap water is naturally carbonated. You could probably get the you could probably get the Oceaneers in there if the water's carbonated. But the Joels won't go in there. They don't like that carbonated water. WHTF Sayonara saying, "Can you help with my problem?" I was trying to answer that actually up there. Looks like you're asking it again. So let me see. Oranda Goldfish and Coreodoros, FX6, soil. Can't figure out a type of LED lights. Low to mid budget, please. 600 liter. How big is a 600 liter? You guys got to convert that stuff to gringo. You know what I mean? American. To gallons. Let's see. 600 liter to gallons. 158. And it says 200 centimeters. So I got to figure out how much. 200 centimeters, huh? I hate where this keyboard is here. I cannot utilize this thing very well. So it's 80 inches wide. Well, let me see here. I wonder if I can I refresh this? Hello? Can I refresh this thing? All right. Well, I will tell you something. Here's a link right there. If you are in the States, you could probably go to Aquarium Co-op. You could look through there. Woo, right? You go to Aquarium Co-op, look through there. If you're not in the States, it would be difficult for me to give you a pure direction on what's available in what country you're in. That is realistically something that I need a lead-in time. You know what I mean? I need to go research and see what's up. The Aquaneat lights, let's see. Corey Boy is recommending the Aquaneat lights. That might be a good deal. Aquaneat's just the Beamsworks with a different name on them. There are a lot of companies that sell lights like these. Let me see. Oh, that's the marine one. We don't want the marine one. I bet you want planted because you got freshwater fish. Where are you? Hello? It's in here somewhere, I think. Maybe. Well, I don't know. Where's the freshwater version? Man, you all's tripping. Freshwater. Where's the freshwater version? I know it's around here. Here it is. You guys, I think I found it. Here we go. How many centimeters are we talking about here? We got to go back. 200 centimeters? All right. Here we go. Okay. Well, here's the deal. So, whoops. Could I please copy it? Maybe? There's the Beamswork light. Okay. Which is usable. And I think that comes in at about $70 or something like that. I realistically, man, that's the 2.0. They don't even, do they even have, hold on. I need to figure out, okay, 3.0, 2.0, 2.0. What's it? Amazon sucks. All right, whatever. All right, let me explain here. So I use the Fluval lights. I use the mostly everything I have is the Fluval Fresh and Plant 2.0. I have found those to be the most usable lights, and they come with a huge warranty. That's going to be the big deal for me, and that they don't break. And if they do break, they just send out a new one, basically. I'm huge. I'm a huge proponent of that. One of the main reasons for that, I scoured the hardware stores. I scoured the lighting stores. I scoured Beamswork. I scoured Finex. I scoured, I don't know. I don't want to just keep naming names. Whatever. I scoured looking for cheap lights. I was making my own LEDs. I was repairing landscape LEDs. I was doing a bunch of things to try and save money on the front end. And I'm going to be brutally honest with you. Saving money on the front end means that you're going to pay money down in the long run, which is just a bad way to go, honestly. I can't stress it enough to get a good quality light that puts out the spectrum that it's supposed to. I'm not saying you need to completely empty your wallet. That is not at all what I am saying. But what I am saying is getting a good quality light and not having to worry about it for a really long time is going to be the best thing that you can do. It just really is. I'm sorry to say it. I don't want to be the guy who's like, you got to go out and buy a Lamborghini so that you can drive to work. That's basically not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that there are other quality lights out there that you can find that have a good warranty. They're UL rated. You want to make sure that they're UL rated or something like that if you're going to be installing it in your house. It's going to be around water. You don't want an electrical fire. You don't want burnout ballast, or you don't want, not ballast, but you don't want burnout power supplies, stuff like that happening, which I've seen happen, right? And it's realistically one of those things. It's like, do you have airbags in your car? And then people go like, well, I've never gotten in a car crash. And you're like, okay, that doesn't really answer the question, because you're like, do you have airbags and seat belts in your car? And you're like, I never got in a car crash. Wait, what? Because more often than not, most people's explanation is like, oh, I've got the super cheap lights. They've done great. They never broke for me. And you're like, okay, but one of the things with like the UL rating is that, out of 10,000 units, do they run the risk of something bad happening, right? And, when something bad happens and then there's loss of property, which isn't a big deal. But right now it's a big deal, even just replacing my junky old truck. I mean, my old truck was mechanically in great shape. It was a 20-year-old truck. There's nothing pretty about it. The paint was good, all the windows worked, all the mechanical stuff, but it's not a fancy truck or anything like that. And it's been a big issue just replacing that, and I'm still way behind on even just recouping just how much it's going to cost to replace it. So, when it happens with your house or something like that, the insurance company's going to do the same thing that they're doing to me with the truck, is that, oh, well, your house is 90 years old and it's pretty depreciated in value. You guys have been using it for a really long time. And you're like, yeah, I live outside right now because my house burned down. Y'all's tripping? What's the deal? And they're like, oh, well, that's cool with us because we're not homeless right now. It's the same thing as when I talk to the insurance lady. She's like, oh, well, my car's not broken. You're like, okay. I get it. I get that her car is not broken and she's not wildly inconvenienced by the whole deal. And as a matter of fact, she's getting paid to deal with me. So it kind of is that flip-flop. And then if you're talking about lights around all this really wet area and they're not UL rated, imagine there's a fire or an accident and there is either loss of life or damage or lowered quality of life because something happened to somebody or an animal. I understand that like fish are pretty low on the totem pole as far as like people concern, right? But also you could have, loss of your fish or your shrimp or your whatever. I just like saving $20 and then spending $50 over the next year, like either fixing or replacing. it just seems like I don't know. It just doesn't feel like the way to operate. You know what I mean? Because I can save money by me like doing labor or like fixing things that may or may not get broken. But when it just comes to lighting, I just realistically, over the years and years of messing with them and trying to find the cheapest way to do it, I just can't recommend the super cheap way. There are some lights out there that are less expensive. I think the beams work, like the Aquaneat ones. I'm going to see if this thing is UL rated or not. I mean, it's 3,600 lumens, which doesn't tell you too much because it depends on how direct the... it doesn't really tell you 78 LEDs at half-watt LEDs, which is typically not great. The half-watt LEDs normally don't last that long. And I would bear in mind that a lot of companies put crazy numbers on their packaging, like, this thing will last 50,000 hours, which I'm like, my response to that has always been, how long is 50,000 hours? Let's see. 5.7 years. Okay, 50,000 hours is 5.7 years. Straight up, let's see. It's like straight up 5.7 years. Let's see. But the world's longest burning bulb lives at a fire station in Livermore, California. It has been going almost continuously for over 110 years. Its reward for seeing all this action is a Guinness World Record, its own website, complete with a webcam so you can see it for yourself, and a continuous stream of lighting aficionados making pilgrimage is to celebrate every year. Okay, 50,000 hours is a figure seen often on LED data sheets and in lighting manufacturers' catalogs. That's nearly 6 years. Now we are starting to see manufacturers giving 10-year warranties up to 90,000 hours. At the end of that scale from LED replacement lamps are rated at just 10,000 hours. So why the difference? Let me see here. So it's dependent on the brightness and how long it's supposed to last. But I've always wondered, like, have you actually had one of these operating for 6 years to see if it actually works? But I've definitely tried a lot of the cheap options, and I definitely was not happy with them. I had to, like I said, I had to replace them, had to fix them, had to wire them up. Like I would have to wire plugs into them. Just a lot of nonsense. But I would just make sure that it's UL rated and it does have some good reviews. Is basically what I would be looking for. One of the weird things about LEDs is that if you are going to be utilizing, cameras for video, you have to remember that. Like, oftentimes a lot of cameras are going to interact funny with certain LEDs. Like, they're not going to pick it up because of their refresh rate is weird. And it'll make your video look all flickery and crazy. So that's something I would look at, too, if I was going to be getting new LEDs for anything. That's something I definitely want to look into. It's been a while since I ran into that, but that is something to pay attention to. Also, one of the reasons I like the Fluvols is because they have the dimming option, which actually changes the refresh rate of it. And if I go up to full strength, it doesn't do that anymore. If I lower it back down, the refresh rate's slower, and it will bring up that flickering effect when I'm doing video. But I can change the brightness of it and leave it all the way up. And as today's video here, once it's all the way up, that flicker effect will go away because the refresh rate will time faster than basically 60 frames a second. Essentially, it's the easy way to explain it. But that's stuff I would definitely take into account these days. It would be that kind of stuff. I would definitely want to make sure that it is UL rated for sure, for at least on the insurance side. I mean, I look at it more like on the family side, that like I wouldn't want a kid grabbing like a really low quality power supply and getting shocked or something like that. It's fine. If somebody like me gets shocked, I get shocked quite a bit because I do a lot of electrical work, but I certainly wouldn't want a kid getting shocked or something happening to somebody's kid or something like that. So that's stuff I would 100% take into consideration, and I'm trying to see if the BeamsWorks ones are UL rated, and I don't see it on here. That doesn't mean they're not. It doesn't mean that they are. Warranty information. Oh, warranty information. Let's see here. Oh, warranty information takes you to nothing. Okay. Well, BeamsWorks warranty information takes you nowhere, so I don't know what that means. But, yeah. Aquaneat, BeamsWorks, they're all the same. It's the same company. They just put a different name on them. Not to badmouth any of them or anything like that, but if they work, they work. And so I would go with it if it's working for you, but, Steve Horton's asking, Joel, did you get a Fluval Nano? Not yet. I should be up at the aquarium co-op tomorrow, unless this truck I buy explodes and catches on fire tonight. I don't know. I should be able to drive up there tomorrow, but who knows? Lexi V saying the little big-headed toy people. Google them. What? Pedro Fisk says, I have a BeamsWorks for a low-tech 55 tank, and it does fine for my swords and frog bit, all I could afford at the time. Yeah, I was just saying that in my experience, trying to utilize the cheap stuff was just not that effective. It just wasn't that great. A lot of unforeseen hurdles and problems and things that I had to deal with on a regular basis, and that's the unfortunate side. Is that if there was a landscape light or something like that I could really recommend, I would, I honestly would tell you, there are a bunch that I tried out. There are a bunch that I told people I was trying out. A bunch of other people tried them out, and most of them had the same reaction that I did after utilizing them for quite a while. Was just like, this is a nightmare. I got to get something else. And the biggest thing with that is that some of the stuff's going to cost $100, $150, but it's something that's going to last a really long time. And when I kind of started doing the math, on the super cheap stuff, was okay, maybe I bought something that was $60. Maybe I bought 4 floodlights, right? And it was $60. Okay, I saved 90. But then over the next year and a half, 2 years, I had to replace them all. So then I was out $120. And then I was really close to having bought a nice light, budget-wise, right? And I still had the budget lights. I didn't have the good light. So that's kind of my recommendation. And my recommendation falls on the same thing with the substrate. That's why I recommend ADA or Oliver Knott's got a new substrate. I've never used it, but he's got a new substrate out. Fluorite, Eco Complete, Fluval Stratum. Those are all awesome. I just highly recommend going with something that's being produced and has been checked and has some quality control and things like that. So okay, so WTF Sayonara is saying, yes, 60 centimeters is quite deep, and yes, Planet, thanks. I personally, having utilized the Fluval ones now, I would highly recommend the Fluval lights. I know that Corey has, he's in the States, obviously, and he's not shipping out anywhere else, but he has some clearance stuff now. He has those Fluval Nano lights. So if you're in the States, even with a tank like that, you could probably get 3 of those nano lights and kind of just bump them up just a little bit, and those would probably be pretty similar to pretty similar to, oh crap, what am I thinking of? I've forgotten those LED. Hold on. No, I got the whoops, the Kessel lights. There we go. They would be probably similar to the Kessel lighting because it's just kind of a more directional puck, but that might work out pretty well. And I think each one of those was only like $70 or 65 or something like that, which is pretty affordable. Oh, Bentley Pascal sending me emails during the show. M. Howie, Mike Howie, one of our patronizers, by the way. And I think Bentley Pascal is also. So shout out to you both. Whatever. Mike Howie, M. Howie9 is one of our Patreons. And I would like to address that a little bit, is that because Corey had a pretty cool stream the other day, and I think it's inspired by a bit of the conversations that he and I have had, like the back and forth of like, we definitely want to keep doing shows where we're having fun and being engaged and doing all that kind of stuff. And I think one of the things that's pretty awesome, he's changed his Patreon up, and it was great. It's great to see all the new support that he's getting and stuff, and that is super awesome. And one of the things that he's incorporated that's similar with ours is that we do have the community page. So, I mean, Patreon can be just $1 a month. And obviously, like, the biggest obstruction is just having people to actually just make a new account. But that's the kind of stuff that you guys could ask me questions about, and I could probably be a little more prepared ahead of time because I do spend time on the Friday show getting some of my notes together and stuff like that to answer questions for the Patreon questions. So it also is a great way that you don't have to like actively be here to try and like, oh, I'm going to send in my question like 3 or 4 times, because you will know that if you throw it in on the community page, I do answer those on Friday from the Patreon. So plus you get kind of a shout out because I do a screen roll where we go past your question or your cool fish tank pictures or any of that stuff. Let's see. Sabata77, the light bulb over my head is always burning out. I know. I feel your pain. That happens to me quite a bit. There's a lot of lights around here, and they burn out all the time. Scottish Aquatic says you should do a painting of my arowana. I'll pay you. Cool. Email me, joel@darkstararts.com, and we could probably start a project. Let's see. So Dan is saying that Joel is cheap. Yes, I am cheap. As a matter of fact, I'm cheap, and I try to find the cheapest answers for, basically for, I've always had a couple thousand people following on YouTube, and I've always been of the mindset of trying to find some answers for you guys or some tips or pointers and stuff like that. I was looking at one of my old videos the other day, and I realized just like how terribly I was getting that across. I feel like I've come a long way, and I've got a long way to go. I feel like the stuff I'm making isn't the quality that I want to make it at, but I definitely realized when I looked at like a 4-year-old video the other day, 5, 6, 7-year-old videos, boy howdy, it's not very good. So I'm getting closer and closer to producing the stuff I like. A big shout out to Aquarium Co-op. One of the big reasons was being able to use the nice camera that I have, and that was a big, huge move from the Aquarium Co-op, hooking me up with a dope camera, by the way. If anybody was wondering, Corey sponsored that month by hooking up a dope camera, and top of my gratitude list today when I was shooting at that camera, I was thinking about it, and I realized, like, I wouldn't be able to be getting this shot right now. And also, big shout out to Vicky. Vicky Toria is the one who got the lens for that camera. So I'd basically be shooting on an iPad or something again, if it wasn't for that. So definitely cool, and big gratitude to those guys for sure. We'll be getting to the video in just a second. Roger Martinez says, why are the roots growing upward and Amazon leaves thin? The roots are growing upward from an Amazon sword? Ooh, Roger Martinez. Did he give any follow-up information? Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. WHT Sayonara says max is $200. I think I just can't afford Ecotech marine lights. Ecotech marine lights are insanely expensive, and definitely not required. They're just too much for the money. It's just too much money for what it is. Let's see here. Well, Roger. Okay, Roger Martinez. Why are roots growing upward and Amazon leaves thin? So I'm guessing if it's an Amazon sword, my guess would be the Amazon sword has kind of reached the point where its root ball is completely overgrown, overgrown from where it's supposed to be at. Most people don't realize that Amazon swords actually come from an area that is a deep, crazy floodplain. Is where most of the swords that we get for the aquarium hobby come from an area where it's just going to be buck wild flooded come the monsoon season, and then it's going to slowly drain back down, and those plants are going to be underwater when it's flooded, and then when it's not flooded, they'll be above water. Now, they have a giant root ball in order to sort of offset that. Plus, the typical ground that they grow in is not very nutrient rich for big portions of the year. And because the root ball is so big, it doesn't allow, when it floods, very much sediment and nutrient to come back while it's flooded, right? So it's kind of one of the big issues that with Amazon swords, and 99 times out of 100, if it's growing weird, if it's growing deficient, a simple root tab is going to be your best application to get them back into shape. That's really going to be the way that you want to go. Seachem has a root tab. Coop has a root tab. What else carries a root tab? I mean, realistically, those are the two that I've used. Seachem, root. Oops, toot tabs. Don't get the toot tabs, bros. Don't get the toot tabs, or you'll get bad gas. Ooh, Thrive tabs. Let's see. Colin is an awesome dude, and I would go with these Thrive tabs. What's in them? Let's see here. Let's break it down. He says our competitor tabs claim the fact they lack certain nutrients. Huh? Flourish tabs don't contain nitrogen or oh, I don't like that. You guys, I hate it when I read somebody's advertising and it's talking about somebody else's product. I do not like that. Colin, if you're out there, take this out of your advertisement because this is ridiculous. I hate that. That's immediate knee-jerk that I don't want to... it's an immediate knee-jerk that I don't want to endorse it. I don't want to endorse anybody who's bad-mouthing somebody else's product. It just seems goofy to me. I don't like it. Personal opinion. Colin's an awesome guy, and he makes good liquid fertilizer. The Thrive's good. The Thrive tabs are good. All right, screw it. I'm just going to... Let me... I'm not going to hold this against him, but typically this would completely drive me nuts. I just hate it when other people are like, well, Honda's cars suck because we told you so. Like, just tell me about your car, you know? But there's a link to the tabs. So root tabs are pretty easy to distribute. You're basically just going to take them, stuff them down into the substrate under plants that are kind of lacking. Sword plants don't pull a ton of nutrients from the water column, although they do a little bit. They do a little bit. Almost every plant will a little bit. But sword feeders are primarily root feeding. A lot of their leaves are pretty much dedicated to photosynthetically absorbing light. That's pretty much the big thing because they're under a canopy. They're under a canopy typically in rainforest type setting. But I bet you those Thrive tabs are good. I posted a link to the coop. We went to the coop earlier. Here's another one. Here's a link to the coop. His tabs are a little bit different. They come in a pill casing. Those work good too. Easy to jam into the dirt under there, and it's going to be more of a longer fix because it's going to take time for that plant to catch back up. But I would definitely recommend some root tabs for anybody out there who's got sword plants in their tank. It is not uncommon for the root ball of a mature sword plant that has grown up full size when they go to pull it, out of the jungle, right, to be 3 meters by 3 meters by 3 meters cube, occupying that much space, which is quite large. Most people would even just consider that to be a really huge aquarium, right? So most of us don't have that much substrate for those roots to really, really feed on. So it's good that if you have an Amazon sword of any type, to give it some root tabs and allow it to kind of just really reach its full potential. That's just kind of what you're going to need. Too Real for YouTube says, I think my wife slipped some root tabs in last night's dinner. If that's the case, you probably just have a little, what is it? Gastric disturbances, right? Hot farts, probably, would be my guess. Steve Horton says, I replaced my T8 with a Fluval Aquasky 2.0 and a non-Wi-Fi Fluval timer while spending less than $100 on eBay. Made a huge difference. I just wish I had the control of the 3.0. That is one of the big deals with the newest Fluval Lite. People have dubbed it the 3.0. I think it's just called the Fresh and Plant. I don't know why they didn't put the 3.0 on it, but the 2.0s work awesome. So if you could find those cheap, get those. The 3.0s are rad too. They're definitely adjustable, and you can set them to whatever you want. You can adjust the color spectrum around and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty cool. And you just do it from your phone. You don't even need an extra thing with the 3.0. So, G-Bear's asking, hey, Joel, what happened to Long Woo? I think that was his name, the guy where you helped set up a tank or videos. I'm fuzzy on what it was. Just remembered the name. Yes, Long Woo, who is one of our big-time... I was actually looking at the history of our supporters here, and Long Woo is one of the OGs. M. Den Hollander still holds the reigning supreme first Patreonizer is M. Den Hollander. If anybody's wondering, is anybody wondering? But Long Woo is one of our biggest supporters. He's one of our biggest lifetime supporters, and an awesome dude, local guy. He's always super busy with work and kids and all that stuff. He does work for an airplane manufacturer, which keeps him super busy. And also, he works what's called second shift. So he starts work at 2 in the afternoon and then gets off at midnight, which makes it very, very, very difficult to collaborate on stuff, because dude's waking up at noon, right? And as most of us know, when you get home from work, you're kind of fired up, right? So you're kind of I'm wandering around, I'm gonna watch some TV, I'm gonna eat some dinner, right? Everybody does that. You get home, you're fired up, and you're you can't just go straight to bed. That just don't really work all that well. And so you just stay up kind of late. And so that makes it an issue for us to really collaborate, because him getting up super early like I do is a little bit crazy for him. It really does kind of mess up his work schedule. So I'm hoping he gets on first shift or third shift or something. It would be kind of cool if he worked the overnights, and then I could go over there at 8 in the morning or something, and we could work on stuff, and then he could go to bed after a little bit. But all is well. He was texting me the other day, which Reminds me I should bug him and text him back and see how it's going, because I know he has a new tank he's setting up. So, Jeffro's up in here. What's up, Jeffro? Good to see you, my man. Thanks, Hanks is here. What's up? Good to see you. Just Bob's here. Just Bob is asking, can you overdose on the root tabs? Yes, you can actually add too many root tabs. You can. I would highly recommend working out a balanced way of adding them. I certainly would not. So, like, the one of them that I added there was 30 tabs, and I think the CChem one is like 40 tabs. Let me see here. So 30, yeah, the Thrive one is 30 tabs, and let me see. Flourish tabs come in a different sizing. Did you ever just think about eating the foam on your microphone? Flourish tabs come in 10 counts or 40 counts or that kind of stuff. I realistically think a 10 count should last you a good amount of time. It should last some months. But if you did, if you do have a big tank with a lot of big heavy root feeders, like let's say you had like a 120 with like 6 big Amazon swords in there, I would dose 1 root tab per big sword, and then and probably only do it once every 3 months, 2 months, 2 months, 3 months, right around there, and that's what I would do. That's how often I do mine. Not super often. It shouldn't be something that's like weekly or anything crazy like that. We got a $5 chat here from Steve Scotland, my man. What's up? Says, what's a good amount of time to water test a tank? I was thinking 5 days. My answer to that would be testing water in a tank is probably a weekly thing. I would set up a schedule where you're able to test like once a week, unless you have a brand new aquarium. If you just had a setup, and let's say you're somebody that has really hard water and you're trying to drop it down to a soft water situation, I would strongly consider daily testing if it's brand new, every other day testing to get a good idea, and then the chart starts to fall off from there. When it's new, I test really often, try and like see what's happening to really keep an idea on what's going on. And then as things balance out, it becomes less frequent. And I'm less reliant on water testing, as it's set up pretty balanced. We do have a little ecosystem going, and things start working well, then you don't really need to be testing on a regular basis unless something is happening. Then you're going to probably go back to testing once a day or maybe even more often to try and figure out what the doozy is happening. You know what I'm saying? So, but once a week, I think is a really good amount, or how often you're testing. If you are somebody who's like running a fish room, to just keep up on it and really find out what's going on. Maybe you do a thing where it's like Monday and Friday. That might be a good way to do it. Or maybe like Tuesday and Friday, or Tuesday and Saturday, or something like that, where you could split it up and just go like, oh, Tuesday, testing day. I don't know what you'd refer to. But if you are somebody that's like running a fish room or something along those lines, then I would certainly look into setting up a schedule and then sticking to it. I wouldn't go completely bananas and just expect to constantly be testing all the time. It's just not the greatest. It's just not the greatest thing to go by, you know. And it's not a realistic expectation to be like, you must test every 12 minutes, you know. It's just not going to work that way. But I want you guys to know something. I really want you guys to know something. Do you know what I want to tell you about? I want to tell you about video time. It's video time. We ain't got no time because it's video time. Ooh. Right, yeah. Did it even start at the beginning, you silly video? You started in the middle. It's ridiculous. This earlier on, this was the most professional show on the internet, in the world, and now we've degraded to the video starting in the middle. How ridiculous is this? It's Bush League. It's amateur hour in here. You know, to all the people operating this show, y'all's on a short leash right now. Okay? It's just me. I'm talking to myself. But we've got a thing here, and that's episode 700. And as you guys know, I certainly have not done 700 live streams. I've done 700 videos plus a bunch other. Somebody was asking me like how I came up with the numbering system for the episodes, and I'm gonna be brutally honest. At one point in time, like a year ago, I realized I was doing a lot of these live shows where I was coming on to talk, and then people couldn't keep them straight because it would be like December 13th, 2017, right? And that didn't make a lot of sense to people because you couldn't quickly reference like, you know, oh, December 13th, 2017. Cool, I'm keeping track here. This is making a lot of sense. So I just counted up how many videos I had and then just started numbering from there. So I have not done 700 live streams. So on the upside, I'm not a total failure because I think if I had done 700 live streams, I would hope that we were doing a little bit better than we're doing right now with 143 people here watching. I'd be like, I would have hoped to build a bigger community by then, but let's be realistic here. 700 videos ain't nothing to shake a stick at. Unless you're certain people out there who consistently upload videos just about like, I took my dog for a walk today. And I took a dog for the walk tomorrow. I know there are some fish people that do that. There are some fish people that are all about just uploading just because they're uploading. And then they accidentally hit a home run every once in a while, right? I think we know some people like that, right? But 700th video, I think. Hold on, let me look this up. Or 700. Oh, where'd the what's this thing? This is the wrong thing. Where's the thing over here? Oh, hold on, guys. You got to bear with me while I click buttons. At least you guys get to look at a video. Oh, whoops, I was on the thing. Oh, we lost subscribers. Alert! We've lost subscribers. Probably because of the show. But, you know, it is what it is. Where'd they go? Where'd the stupid button go? Button? We don't need no buttons, man. Oh, there it is. Okay, hold on. It's got to load. It's allocating. It's finding out what's going on. 767. So we got 767 videos up, which means we've got at least one subscriber for every video that we've put up. Cha-cha! Which is pretty good, I think. So I think we're doing good. I'm fully optimistic about everything in the world. All the people out there that have warned me to be completely terrified about having a baby, don't worry, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Let's close that. We don't need that open. All right. Let's see. Oh, the Aquarium Coop is here. Oh, great. We started talking about Aquarium Coop, and he showed up. Did we say it 3 times in the window? Or in the mirror? Did we say it in the mirror 3 times, and then he showed up like a ghost? Ah. What was that? I don't know what that was. I don't know. Something got me. Something got me in my face. Alex McGowan says, what's up? What's going on, Fish Fam? Dan says, it would be the best, dude. Ignore them. Yeah, I just think I'm just going to be busy. I'm just going to be busy, which is pretty much like that's what I already do now. So I think it'll be pretty much the same. I do know that, you know, being a super old first-time dad, right? There are going to be some people out there that are going to be chipping in, helping out. So I think that's Does put a little shiny warm thing in my heart place. You know what I'm saying? Look at that scratch on my aquarium. Did you guys even notice that in the video? Look at that scratch right there. Ridiculous. Hold on, let me turn on the whiteboard. See this scratch right here? Wait, where'd it go? I can't even see it. Oh, here it is. It's right there. Oh, shoot. Now I got to clear the whiteboard. Looks like I got a weird nose going on up here. Oh, hold on. Let's kind of fill this in a little bit. It is so hard to draw with your mouse. I have no idea how people do it. It makes no sense to me. And then he's got some splooshy hair right up here, and then a weird ear, maybe a collar. We'll throw in like a necktie down here, right? Oh, look at that. My necktie is better than everything else. And then he's the angry teacher guy, right? Hey, you kids, you better turn in your papers. Oh! Is he angry? He's angry. He's got a big nose. Got a thing going on over here. And then he's like, he's got loud noises coming out of his mouth, right? Pretty good, right? You guys are excited. I'm excited. Everybody's excited. Feels pretty good, right? Yeah, the Aquarium Co-op. The Aquarium Co-op says having a baby is going to change your life. And he donated $10 to say that, so we got to respect it or something, right? Respect? Aquarium Co-op with follow-up saying, it's an inside joke between Joel and I. I'm just trolling him. Yes, legit, you are trolling me. It's the nicest way to troll, though. You know what I mean? You like super chatted trolling. So, it's not that bad. It's like troll support. Maybe I should make a troll support video. I don't know. I've got so many videos I'm editing right now. I should probably just focus on those instead of thinking of a new idea, right? But today, being the 700th video, I was kind of thinking about what the topic would be about, kind of what I was thinking about, kind of what was on my mind, sort of like, what are we going to have train of thought to talk about in a legit way, because some of the videos that I've shot definitely have to do with just other stuff that's going to be a short video. And because this is a long video, and we actually get to have a back and forth conversation, I feel like this is a healthier way to actually have a conversation about the topic, which is what is it about aquascaping and fish tanks that makes us so happy? This is such an enjoyable hobby for me. And I realistically was thinking about it and just thinking about it in terms, and that is just the number of things that go into this hobby, which I find them all enjoyable. It's like, weird power management and light bulbs, and light spectrum, this crazy stuff, figuring it out. That's awesome. Water filtration, anoxic bacteria, anaerobic bacteria, the exchange between nitrogen and phosphate and all this crazy stuff. I love all that stuff too. Substrates, oh my gosh, like rocks, geology, all that crazy stuff. That makes me happy. Fish, shrimp, the breeding, the biology, like where do these ecosystems come from? And then we get to the coup de grace for me, and that's plants. You guys, I love plants so much. I'm the worst guy to recount them too off the top of my head. One of the crazy things is that like you could show me a plant and I could tell you how to grow it, but I can't recall the name very well, like on the spot. I'm so terrible about that. Call it an Achilles heel, call it whatever you like. I am just terrible at that recall for whatever reason. But I could tell you the water conditions or the growing conditions or what kind of soil it needs or something like that, and how to propagate it and how to do this and like what kind of light spectrum does it prefer? Does it prefer pink over blue over 5,000 K to 6,500 K or 10,000 K? That kind of stuff I'm really, really good at. I'm always terrible about coming up with like, I was actually asking Corey this morning about some specific Ludwigia I'm looking for, whether or not I could if I could place an order. And you know what? Like, there's really not that many people that could place an order with Corey, and that's not because of our collaboration on YouTube and stuff like that, but it's because we're friends and he's willing to super chat me during my show and troll me that way. As he says, I prefer super trolls to super chats, and which is good, but I do have to up my game on super trolling the aquarium co-op. I got to figure it out. But he was being very generous to say, yes, we could probably get in that specific type. Obviously, I'm going to have to convert it underwater and all that stuff, but I'll just pay him for him, and he might be able to get those in. It's not something that he normally carries, so not a big deal. And Bentley Pascal is asking, he's asking what Ludwigia are you looking for? There's two plants that I'm looking for right now. One is a hygrophila, the Aragu. How do you say? I'm gonna say this wrong. Araguaia, right? Araguaia in vitro is, well, in vitro is the growth type, but that's one that I'm looking for, which is a really thin leafed, will turn red hygrophila. A very interesting plant. I never see it for sale anywhere. If I could find that one, that would be fantastic. But the hold on, where's my stupid? Oh, here, I can just open this thing. I can be like, hey, man, I don't want to say glandulosa. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, what was there? Peruensis is, no, glandulosa is the one that I was looking for. Glandulosa is a little bit odd to find, and with most hobbyists, it's not normally purely identified as it actually is. Sometimes it's actually just it's the wrong varietal, and it's just happening to grow a certain way. But that's one that I'm looking for, and I haven't seen any listings locally for it. And I'm not a huge fan of the Aquabid action these days for plants and stuff like that. I'm certainly not a huge fan of the Amazon links. As you'll just see random stuff up on Amazon, and then it's like somebody sends you a bag of seeds or something weird. And then you're like trying to follow up with Amazon, like, dude, this guy didn't send me this plant. And the Amazon people are like, I don't know anything about plants, bro. And then I just haven't seen it listed on anybody's any of the reputable sites, like Aquarium Co-op's one, aquaticplants.com. That's one that I've dealt with for years and years, and those guys do great work. I just didn't see any of it on there. So, I haven't seen it. Oh, Bentley Pascal has it. He's got glandulosa, and it's awesome. Well, that's cool, Bentley. Go make some YouTube videos. I sold you my camera, and it's super cheap. I'm just joking, Bentley. Come over and hang out. If you guys don't know, Bentley and I hang out in person, and we give each other the ribbing, as it were. The gentleman's ribbing. Right? Well, that's cool. If Bentley's got some glandulosa, maybe I'll slip him some Bentleys and see if we can't get a trimming. Or maybe I'll trade him something. Maybe I'll scoop out all my rummy nose and trade him for a plant. Although, I think people have definitely been enjoying the rummy nose in here, and me included. I've definitely enjoyed. I enjoyed how well they're doing. They're doing fantastically. They are breeding. If you guys pay attention to the video a little bit, you will notice there are apistos starting to become aplenty in this aquarium. They're not. It's not that there's that many of them, but there are enough that they are working their way through the rummy nose tetra eggs. So I've got a serious decision here to make, and this does, I hope, play into the title of this video. Is like, what is it about aquascaping and fish tanks that make us so happy? The killifish that I have in the 60 cube right now, I might be rehoming them. So maybe I'll trade the killifish to Bentley for some glandulosa. Because I want to move the. I'm planning on moving the rummy nose over to the 60 gallon because I would prefer to get the temperature up and get them to be scattering eggs way more often. Well, I mean, they do have kind of the sticky eggs, but you get what I'm saying. I would like to get a tank that is just filled with eggs and hatching them and breeding them and breeding them and breeding them. I honestly would feel pretty good about starting to breed a line of the rummy nose and at least having them for a while. And I do know I have the setup to do it. The 240 isn't necessarily the great system to do it because this is a 240 gallon aquarium here. The sump on it is it's like 100 gallon, but it's obviously not completely full. But I have like at minimum 300 gallons worth of water here and rocks and all that kind of stuff. So, so this tank, this aquarium here does just sit at a rock solid 77 degrees, which is not quite hot enough to get them to breed the way that I want them to. If I want them to breed a lot, I need to get up to the 82, 83 range temperature-wise. All the other water conditions are plenty fine for them here. The pH is great. The KHDH, all that kind of stuff is all just perfect, but the temperature's a little bit low to get them aggressively breeding, if that is even like two words that you should put together, like aggressively breeding. I don't know. That almost feels like two words that just should not go together. But if I wanted them to be breeding often, I'm probably going to end up moving them over to the 60-gallon cube. That's going to be probably the plan. So I'll probably rehome the killifish and then move the rummy nose over to that aquarium. One of the great things I like about breeding fish in an aquarium that has a sump is that as eggs and things hatch and the fish and things start to become free swimming and whatnot, is that oftentimes they'll kind of take this little tumble through the overflow and end up down in the sump. Now down in the sump, I always have a lot of filtration mats and things like that will keep them from moving forward and getting sprayed and thrown back up into the tank through the pump, which is great. And it also creates a little chamber down there that's almost like it's predator free. It's a great environment for the babies all just to kind of hang out. There'll be plenty of food down there. It's much easier to feed down in the sump than it is up in the main display tank, and all the babies actually get an opportunity to feed on things. So I'm gonna kind of go back into that. That's basically what I'm doing with my shrimp tank, and so it's kind of interesting. I'm gonna be making a little video about the baby shrimp sanctuary, which is like the second chamber down in the sump, and it's like you go down in there and there's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tiny baby shrimp, and what I do is I'll net out the bigger ones, then move them up to the display, and then they don't ever end up back in the sump. Typically, every once in a while they do, but typically I just net the big ones and then put them back up into the display, and then it's just a lot easier to handle and do it that way. And I think it's a great way of breeding for me personally, because I'm not somebody that's going into breeding boxes and mops and all this kind of stuff, because I'm not a fish breeder. So I'm basically doing it for fun, and I find it to be a really easy, I guess easy is not the right word, but manageable way of going about it. Let's see here. M Howie 9 for the tip jar. He's got a $4.99 super chat for the tip jar. Well, thank you very much. I see Jan and Keller in the chat. What's up? Baby Aquariums here. Hey, Joel. When are you coming to the Bay Area? I have to look at my calendar. Hold on. Sorry, my phone was way over there, and I had to go get it. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba-da-da-da-da-da. June 16th and 17th or something, right? Yeah. I'll be in San Francisco June 16th. Not sure what time we come back on the 17th. I think we might be there the 16th and the 17th. It's a Saturday and the Sunday. We'll be down there. Vicky, Toria, and myself. We'll be down in the Bay Area. We'll be down there. Other than that, I don't know. Somebody, anybody. I've had a lot of people recently asking me about like whether or not I'm going to go somewhere. And the reality is, like, if I can afford to go somewhere, I will afford to go there, you know? It's realistically one of those things. Like, airfare costs a lot, hotels cost a lot, and being gone. You know, being gone costs me a lot. You know, I got kind of a threadbare budget, right? Is that the word I'm looking for? I got a pretty skinny mini budget that I work off of. And, you know, if I'm gone for a good period of time, it puts a big hurting on that budget because I'm just not around to make money and stuff. And it's like, oh no. So if I can combine those three things, I'll go. You know what I mean? So I am in some really, really, really minor negotiations to go to some other places, but they're not places anybody has requested me to go to as far as like fans go and stuff like that. Have been talking to I've been talking to an Oregon Fish Club that wants me to come down there, and we shall see how that goes. And which reminds me, I have a email to reply to. I think I have so many emails to reply to. This insurance thing has been screwing me up because they are just jamming my inbox with so many insurance nonsense statements too, you know. And it's been hurting my workflow big time. Priscilla MK with a $2 Pinto Fund super chat. Well, thank you. I'll appreciate it. As you guys know, I'm trying to get me some pinto shrimp one of these days, and look forward to that happening at some point. I'm coughing a lot today. Probably dying. That's all right, though. Scottish Aquatics says, come over and do a walkthrough after the live stream. Who? Me? I can't come over. I got to go buy a truck. If anybody sees me walking around, like, within the hour after the live stream, I probably have an envelope with money in it. Oh, no. Did I say that on the internet? Y'all have no idea where I'm going. The moon. It's on the moon. Outer space. That's where I'm going. If I say it really quietly, people will turn their audio way up. To try and figure it out, right? Let's see. Patrick Squattic says, them's a lot of rummy-nose. Yes, there are a lot of rummy-nose in here. Luckily, they aren't that much of a dirty fish, you know, realistically. They're a pretty clean fish that are pretty easy to maintain, and I think, you know, with if I move them over to the 60-gallon, they're going to be happy with the water quality, and it'll be pretty easy for me to maintain the water quality the way that I want it to be. So, hopefully we can just kind of really spur on their breeding behavior, and we'll see how it goes. And on top of that, hopefully we'll have some cool surprises to put into the 240 if that's the case. I was considering just going more and more rummy nose, but I don't know. I feel if I'm going to go more and more rummy nose, I should probably breed them or something, right? That feels like kind of the right thing to do. Man, it is getting warm in here. All right, well, we are coming up on the 4:30 hour, which means I'm going to have to start heading out of here, which sucks. But coming up on the last 5 minutes, let me scroll through the chat here. and see what we got for a question to answer. John Bedker. Ultimate says it detoxifies nitrite and heavy metals, including copper. Does this mean that if I use Cordon Copper Aid to treat for anchorworm, that it will be neutralized by the Ultimate? You know what? Off the top of my head, I don't know what the Ultimate is. So I'll have to look into that one. I'm going to have to go ahead and copy this. And, hey, where's my notepad? Haha, there's my notepad. I'm going to go ahead and paste it on. What is this? It's making one big, giant, long sentence? I mean, come on now. What's this? Okay, hold on a second. Enter. Let's open the chat back up. Let's get your name and put it on there so I'll be able to remember. But let me. I'll be looking this one up. I don't know what Ultimate is right off the top of my head. Does that mean I'm a bad guy? Maybe. Let's make that bold. There we go. Cool's that. Cool is the rule. But let me look that up, and I will get back to you probably on Wednesday. It's on my notepad, and then we'll be, we'll be on my notepad. BN Cooley Aquatic says, heck yeah, we're excited here at Willamette, right? Willamette Valley Aquarium Society. Am I saying that right? Because we got the Willamette here, and you got Willamette down there, right? Hope we can get things all worked out and have you come and give a speech. That would be fun. I would look forward to that. We do have to figure out what the topic would be. What would I come down to talk about? I don't know. Maybe Koopy and I will brainstorm an idea tomorrow, and I'll be able to email you and let you know. Or maybe I'll come down there and do a live stream live. That might be an idea. I don't know if we could work that out. How would we do that? I'll think about it. I'll think about if I could do that or not. I don't have a laptop, so maybe not. 2 sting rays or 1 Fluval 2.0 for a full tank of Val. Valsnaria? Tampa, I would go for the Fluval 2.0. Valsnaria is not super hungry for light necessarily. But the 2.0 will be plenty of light. And let me look up the stingrays here real quick. I wonder how much they are. So let me see. Pet supplies. Well, let's see if we can't get to the right thing here. Jeez. Come on now, Amazons. Well, the Phoenix Vivid Plus, this light I haven't tried out. I have not tried out this light. I don't know if it's new or what. Never seen that one before. All-purpose plant growing plus color-enhancing LED. The 48-inch one is $113. Let's see. And it's a 42-watt unit. 56 daylight. Where's the par and stuff? No par. But the Fuge Ray Planet Plus would be probably more the comparable light to the 2.0. I think realistically, personally, I would just go with the one light because I've got one of the Fluval 2.0s over my 150 gallon. And that is plenty of light for, let's see, what's all in there. I've got Styrogine Repens, Styrogine Repens, Styrogine, I've heard people call it that. I've got Crips. I've got Alternanthera Renekii, which is a bright red plant. It's doing fantastically. I've got a ton of Anubias and a lot of other stuff in there. And that Fluval 2.0, it's a 48-inch on a 60-inch, 150-gallon aquarium. It's 24 inches tall. That one light is plenty on that aquarium. So it gives you an idea, I think, the difference between those Fluval lights versus some of the other brands. Like I have found that like right now on the 240, I've got 4 of them on there, and it is just too much light. I've got too much light on the 240. I'm probably going to go back to just having 2 on there. Although, I don't know. I might just leave it at 4 and just keep running it buck wild in there. But 4 is basically like too many lights for the 240. So I've got one over the 150 of the, which one's on that one? I've got a Fluval 2.0 on that one, and that is plenty for that. So, and this is the 240, as you guys can see, there's replanting going on. There's a whole rescape right now in the videos. You can see this area has been changed up. There's brand new plants in there, and it's doing quite well. So 4 of them on a 240 is pretty crazy. Scottish Aquatics says, don't get the 2.0. You can get a better light for way cheaper. It's possible. You can get a way cheaper light, whether it's better or not, or has a better warranty. Don't know. And I would remind you guys that all of these German, all of the Interzoo. What is it? Oh my. What are we testing right now? What are you doing? Now you're supposed to be off. Okay, there we go. Bumped into my electrical tester there. I would bear in mind that Fluval is the reason all of the Interzoo videos are going to come out, which hopefully you guys like the first one. I've got so many more Interzoo videos coming out. There have been a lot of requests for sort of specific type videos that people are looking for from the Interzoo, and not to disrespect anybody's requests, but they are really going to be the way that I want them to be. I'm not going to make everyone else's requests on how they're going to go. Yes, they're going to come out fairly slowly, but actually coming up in the next week and a half, most of them will be coming out every like third day or something like that. I'm not to make any promises or anything because I've got all my other workflow that I'm making. But, Fluval's responsible for us being able to go out there and honestly, like really pushing the idea to start making the next step, mainly because like when I've gone to American conventions and stuff like that, they just are like, they're just kind of blasé in comparison to a lot of the things that were going on. And admittedly, a lot of the talent in the world was at Interzoo. I mean, you're just like, oh, hey, there's Oliver Knott. Like, oh, hey, there's Heiko Blair. Oh, hey, there's that guy who does all of the jewel tanks, like, there's Chris Lukup. That's the guy who did the shrimp. Like it's just kind of the who's who was definitely there. And so it was definitely motivating in that fact. And, Fluval is kind of the reason that has made that possible, not only with, I will have to say for their substrate really keeping me in this hobby for so long, really making it kind of hassle-free to deal with, and also, their new lights and stuff. I will admit that like 3 or 4 years ago, I was really starting to get pretty disappointed with the lights that were coming out, the lights that were hitting the market. For the freshwater tanks, like they were just either like really janky or they didn't work or they just had so many problems. And honestly, this Fluval lights that have come out have really kind of, made it a lot easier for people to get into this hobby. And, people that are way into the hobby, I think we forget that. I think that we forget that something as awesome as a light like this coming out is that people kind of look at it and they just go like, oh man, it's $149. That's ridiculous. And I think the reality is that somebody coming into the hobby that could have such a good opportunity with a product like that realistically isn't like it's not like you're taking out a second mortgage. I mean, it's like $150, right? That's doable. You know what I mean? That's doable for just about anybody. I think a waitress can go out and make $150 in half of a shift on a Friday. You know what I mean? So, it's not a crazy amount of money like the eco tax or something like that, or even the no, I keep forgetting them today. What's it? Kessels, or like the Kessel lights, where you're like, it's going to be like $1,200 or something like that for lights on a 150. I just think it's one of the things that's making it really enthusiastic for me. Especially for the new people coming into the hobby, that it really is like, here's the light, you could get it, you put it on your tank, and it's gonna be bitching for a long, long time, right? You know, and I would say somebody like me that was building lights and doing all that kind of stuff, it was even like getting discouraging to me, just like how much time and money and chaos was going into doing stuff. There was a point where I was basically switching back to T5s because I was just getting so tired of dealing with all the cheap lights and stuff like that, right? And just going in all this crazy roundabout way of spending money and having issues and stuff. It was really getting discouraging for me, you know, and that's somebody for me that's like not ever going to stop doing this, you know. I might stop doing YouTube or whatever because I might not have time, but I'm probably never going to stop having aquariums and plants and stuff. That's something I'm always going to have forever, regardless of how many kids I have. We could have 100 kids and I'm still going to have aquariums and stuff because I got to teach my babies. I'm going to have one coming, right? I only got one coming. Chances are we're probably only going to have one baby. I mean, let's be honest here. Chances are we're probably only going to have one. So far, her name is Michael Olivia, which I've been getting a lot of thumbs up with, and I'm just working my way into definitely enjoying it and saying it a lot, and you know, just saying it a lot and feeling like whether or not it's gonna be the jam or not. I think so far, even some self-appointed, how were they going by? They were like baby name snobs, self-appointed baby name snobs were saying that that would be a dope name for a girl. So I was like, yeah, I think you're right. I think it's pretty cool. Oh, but yeah, I think to answer that question that people have been asking is like the DIY or off the shelf. I think I would realistically just go with the Fluval. It's not even that those guys were super cool for like hosting us and taking us out there. It's also a really cool product. I mean, so I don't know, and it's not my job to sell the stuff to you because I don't really care one way or another. Hagen's a giant company, and Fluval's owned by Hagen, and it's not my concern to make those guys money. So it's really no skin off my back one way or another. I'm just saying it's a super cool product, and I'm down with it. If somebody makes a dope light, like this is a better light, I'd like to know. I'd like to test it out. Whether any of those companies think it's worthwhile or not. I pretty much only get emails that are like this one right here, that is like, the invitation. Dear friend, this is from a seller on Amazon. I have reviewed your information on Amazon's top review list, so I sincerely invite you to test our latest product, that LED string lights, and share your comments on Amazon. If you are interested in this product, please feel free to contact me. Thank you very much for reading this email. Best regards. So not only is there some grammar errors in there, it doesn't represent what company it's from. It doesn't even it doesn't mention anything other than like, I've read your remarks on top seller on Amazon or whatever. I don't even know. But those are the kind of emails I get. I don't actually get them from Fluval or anybody like that. I just get the ones that are like, hey, we want your credit card information. We're cool, don't worry. We're good friends. We're good friends, and you can trust me. I'm from space. But we are coming up on the end of the show. I've rambled. I've gone way off track. Hopefully we'll get a bunch of trolls and stuff like that who get super pissed. I'm willing to spend the next 5 minutes answering a couple more questions if we can do a like spike. Did we do a like spike? How many likes were on here? I have to look at my phone to even see how many likes are on here. Uh-oh, what's this? Vicky's sending me pictures. Oops. Vicky's taking a floor mat back to Enterprise. Red to car. We accidentally had one of their floor mats. Whoops. Let me see here. How many likes we at, guys? What are we at? Let's see. Let's see if we can accidentally... Okay, we've got 4 dislikes. Strong. That's a strong play. I like that. 96 likes and 148 watching. That's not bad. That's not bad. I can't really hate on that, you guys, because that's like 100 out of 150. That's like 2/3 of you hit a button. That's a pretty good response. That's a pretty good response. Steve Salty Shrimpery, and more says 100 on his end, and I missed your super chat. I haven't gone back. Wait, where? I answered Steve's super chat. I don't know. Oh, I missed one here. It's not Steve's that I missed. I spent forever talking about Steve's question on water testing, but I did miss a super chat from Barbara Jackson, who was asking, would you like some Impatiens sodenii? I don't know this plant off the top of my head. Let me take a question here. Let me take a look. Oh, no wonder I don't know this question. This is a garden plant. This is garden plant. I'll have to ask Vicky if she wants garden plant or not. Barbara, thank you for the super chat, and by the way, thank you for your Patreon support. I noticed that you were way up there on the top of the list in supporting. Let me see here. I'm gonna count it down. I'm gonna see. All right, here we go. Lifetime. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my gosh, Barbara Jackson is number 5, you guys. No, Barbara Jackson is number 5 in the supporting this channel. Wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I can't count to 6, apparently. Sorry, Barbara Jackson is number 6. Screw this. I'm going to read the top 10 here. I want to read the top 10 because these are all cool people. Let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Here we go. Starting out at number 11. That's right, I'm reading the top 11. Patreon supporters for the lifetime support. We have a tie between Kieran Egan. Oh, who's not a patronizer anymore. Shoot. Did I just say that? Sorry. But Kieran Egan and Tim Lewis, who's still with us. Love you, bro. Kieran Egan still... Oh, never mind. Kieran Egan's still a patronizer. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I was reading the wrong thing because I'm an idiot. Tim Lewis and Kieran Egan tied at number 11. Bracken coming in at number 10. Our guy... Bracken Ward, who I saw in the chat earlier. I don't know if he's still here, but Bracken, thank you. Vince Grippa, number 9. Number 8, moving way up the charts. Last month's highest supporter, Keith. Thank you very much, Keith. Crap, what number was I on? 7? Yes. Number 7, Lifetime, is Long Woo. There he is right there. Lifetime support. Badass Long Woo. Barbara Jackson coming in at number 6, who I already spoiled it, the alert. Cute Nicks. Coming in at number 5. Cute Nicks, thank you very much. Steven Scogland coming in at number 4. Eric Gone Mad, Wherever You Are, coming in at number 3. The Aquarium Co-op at number 2. And number 1. Can anybody guess who number 1 is? Is you number 1? Who is number 1? Who can guess? I wonder who can guess. We'll see if anybody can guess number 1 over the next couple minutes. And I'm going to see... Okay, so those plants are a garden plant. I don't know, Barbara. I don't know who can answer that for me. So then I got all the super chats. Cool. We got all of those. Turtle Girl says 2/3 of my thumb hit that button. Liking it. Barbara Jackson, did you see my super chat? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, I just got done talking about it, so I think I got that. Steve said, I missed the response. I went on for a while, so you'll have to go back, Steve. But yeah, we definitely talked about water testing. I like talking about water testing. It's kind of a crazy thing. KPA Aquarium says, Joel, thank you for doing what you do. Any experience breeding electric blue Acara? Not a huge amount of experience. I did it sort of accidentally once. I didn't go like super crazy into it because I'm not the hugest cichlid fan for my personal tanks, but I've definitely messed around with them in other people's settings and stuff like that. Like I said, I accidentally bred them. I wouldn't be a great resource for explaining it to you too much, but definitely did it on accident. But they are definitely a cool fish. I might consider. That's like one of the cichlids that I would consider. You know what I mean? So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But no, I wouldn't be a great resource for that fish at all. Jad Orsi says, just wanted to say thanks, man, for being you. You're pretty darn great. Well, thank you, Jad. You're pretty darn great, too. Always nice comments and stuff. I read the bottom 10. Just playing. Let's see here. All right. Did anybody get it right? JP Gallegos says flip. Flip isn't even a patronizer. Flip's awesome. I love Rob. He's not a patronizer. Neither is Mike. Mike's not a patronizer either. So, who knows? Dan Squire saying potato? Nope. Patrick's Aquatics. The Rick. Well, the Rick hasn't even been online in years. So, probably not. KPA Aquarium says Vicky Toria. She gets the 1A. She's above number 1. So, she's not actually on there. Bentley Pascal with the Daryl Dimer. That is a good question. Steve Salty Shrimp says M. Den Hollander. M. Den Hollander is the first, time-wise, he's the original. But M. Howie 9, nope. But got Dan Squire saying the Zombie Mailman, which is close, so we'll give it a half credit. We'll give you half credit. It is the Fishy Mailman, by far, number 1 Patreon supporter, just kicking everybody's butt. Thank you very much. He's kicking my butt. He's so awesome at it. He's kicking my butt. And thank you very much, Fishy Mailman. Thank you, everybody. The whole accumulation of everybody. I think we're down to 281 now. I think a whole bunch of people left after my freak out, which is fine. I told them to leave, and they did. So they were like, I'm tired of listening to this idiot, and I don't blame them. But we have some new patronizers today. Everything is cool, and we're doing great, and thank you very much to everybody at the top. Raymond Barndine says the Fishy Mailman. Yes, by far, the Fishy Mailman is just kicking in like chicken in. And everybody else in the top 281, thank you. I appreciate it. It's big time. Like I said, the Patreon is like 70% of everything that comes in, So thank you guys very much. Everybody's saying thanks to the Fishy Mailman on top of it. Loving it. Chad Krantz with the final super chat of the day before I sign off here, saying, great way to kick off the week. Thanks for the show. Well, thank you for coming out to the show. Did everybody hit the dislike button? Did everybody hit the dislike button? How does this work? Oh, I have to reload it, right? Reload! How'd you guys like that thumbnail? Whoa! We got an Inception. Well, we got up to 133. Cool. All right, thanks, guys. If you like this episode or you liked any other video that I have produced on here, I would 100% appreciate you guys sharing that out. Share it out on Facebook or whatever your favorite platform is. Blow it up on Twitter. That'd be cool. Send it out there. If there's something you like, if there's something that's cringe, maybe we'll all cringe at it and have a good laugh at my terrible old videos. Or maybe there's a new video that you guys really like and you want to help promote it. That would be awesome. Share it out. I will see you guys tomorrow on The Real Fish Talk at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. The dog's going crazy. Dogs are going crazy right at the end of the show here. The Real Fish Talk tomorrow with myself and Corey from the Aquarium Co-op, along with Jimmy. It's going to be the three of us back together again, the Musketeers of Musketeering or whatever. I don't know. But we'll be doing that. And then on top of it, I'll be back here on Wednesday. So we've got a full week coming up. I've got a bunch of edited videos coming out. So everybody have a fantastic day out there. I got to figure out why the dogs are freaking out, and I got to get out of here. All right. Later. CJ Black stole the button again.